I'd like to call this meeting to order tonight. I am calling the meeting to order tonight because this is our reorganizational time each year. So before we get on with that, I'd like to ask everybody to please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. At this time, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As I noted earlier, each year the board reorganizes, and our first order of business when that happens is to choose a chair for the coming year. At this time, I'd like to take nominations from the board for chair.
Dr. Bryan, I'd like to nominate Mr. Kelly to serve the next year as chairman of the Lee County Board of Education.
Please note that Mr. Kelly has been nominated for chair. Other nominations? Do I hear a motion to close nominations?
I make a motion to close the nominations for chair.
Second? Second. All those in favor of Mr. Kelly as chair, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Mr. Kelly, congratulations, and I will turn the gavel over to you.
Thank you. I gratefully accept, and thank you to my fellow board members for trusting me to lead you again in the coming year, and thank you for your cooperation in all manners pertaining to Lee County Schools. Moving along, we need to elect a vice chair. So this time, I will open nominations for vice chair of the Lee County School Board.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to nominate Christine Hilliard for vice chairman of the Lee County School Board.
At this time, so far we have Mrs. Christine Hilliard for vice chair nomination. Are there any others? Hearing none, I will call for a motion to close nominations.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we close the nominations for vice chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of closing nominations, saying aye.
Aye.
All right. All in favor of Mrs. Christine Hilliard for vice chair, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All the opposed? No, they're unanimous. So, any words, Mrs. Hilliard?
Thank you for trusting me.
All right. We'll get on down to business. At this time, there's no public comments, so I'll move right along to our Lee County vision statement.
The Lee County Schools, in partnership with community, will provide challenging learning experiences for students in a safe and supportive environment. We are committed to academic excellence, technological innovations, social responsibility, and lifelong learning. Our success will be demonstrated by the achievement of our students and their positive participation in society.
Thank you. Moving right along to our Code of Ethics for school board members.
The board recognizes that collectively and individually, all members of the board must adhere to an accepted code of ethics in order to improve public education. Members of the Lee County Board of Education should avoid conflicts of interest and appearance of conflicts of interest as we handle the work of the board, avoid the solicitation and or acceptance of gifts in return for advice or assistance on matters concerning the operation of the business of the board, avoid the misuse of public funds, avoid misrepresentation or falsification of facts, and avoid making confidential information public. The board accepts the code of ethics established by the North Carolina School Board Association.
Thank you, sir. Moving along to the approval of our agenda. On the approval of our agenda, I've had one item that a board member has requested to be moved from consent agenda to new business number 3, and that is the purchase of laptop computers. So I would like to make that note, and if there's no other changes, I would call for approval of our agenda.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the annotated changes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of the agenda adopted and approved as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Like sign? Our agenda stands approved. Moving right along to our approval of our minutes for our call board meeting on October 31st, 2019, and our regular board meeting on November 5th, 2019. Do I have a motion to approve both sets of minutes?
I move that we approve them.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of approving our minutes from both stated meetings, signal saying aye.
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 Those that oppose, like sign. Our minutes stand approved. Moving along to my chairman's report. I want to first congratulate Deep River. So far, they're leading first place in the Jingle and Mingle competition with Michaels and Sons. I encourage all members of the public and anyone listening, please go to Michael and Sons website and vote for Deep River to win their holiday Jingle and Mingle. It would mean that if they continue to stay in first place and won, they'd get free instruments for their music class at Deep River. Second, first I'd like to congratulate all of our fall athletic teams across all of our schools, but I'd especially like to send a congratulations out to our Yellow Jacket football team right here at Lee Senior High School, who will play for the state championship in the 3AA championship game this Saturday at 7 p.m. at Carter Finley Field there on the campus of NC State. So I've had the pleasure of watching this football team throughout the year in wind, rain, sun, and darkness. So please come out and support our Yellow Jackets this Saturday at 7 p.m. And I'll also take this moment just a quick shout out to Board Member Kraken. Thank you for what you've done for the football team this year and your announcing as well. With all that being said, it is closely approaching the holidays. I wish everybody on this board and in the public a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I know that even Board Member Womack and myself said earlier that we're all looking forward to a break. So I hope our students finish the year out strong and we get that time off that we much needed and deserved. I will end my chairman's report at this time and turn it over to Dr. Andy Bryan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to ask Dr. Johnny Waller to come forward, please, for the Clean School of the Month.
Mr. Chair, board members, Dr. Bryan, I'm happy to present again that all 17 of our schools had scored 90 or above on the Cleanliness Award. We had 3 schools that scored 96, 3 schools 97, 2 schools 98, and Floyd L. Knight with 99%. So Ms. Allen could not be here tonight, but we have Eddie Sellers with us, the custodian.
Thank you very much, Board.
Well, I was just there this week and I saw the good job you do, even though you're making fun of the NC State shirt I was wearing.
I got to do that.
I know, Mr. Sellers.
All right. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Accountability update. I think you'll see on your agenda with some finalizing some school improvement plans. That's what most of our work has been directed to over the last several months, and have come through our curriculum instruction committee. And I think our principals and staffs have done a great job with that. Before I conclude tonight, Mr. Chairman, I would like to hand out Superintendent's Extra Effort Award. And a couple weeks ago, I made a trip up to Greensboro. I believe, Mr. Chairman, you were there at that meeting as well.
Yes, sir.
And we got to recognize someone. Actually, we weren't doing the recognizing. We were there to sort of cheer someone on. And it's not very often that you get a lot of board clerks together within the state. But there were several board clerks together, and they were being recognized for their professional development and hours that they had given to the service of boards and clerking across the state. So as everybody's name was being read off, sort of their name was read and then their number of hours they had accumulated through that process. And the very last person, meaning number one in the state.
Person with the most hours.
That's right. Read off during that time was our very own Miss Susan Britt. So I just want, for all of her efforts and everything she does for our district, for the school board and for our schools, and that award itself, just want to recognize her for the Superintendent's Extra Effort Award tonight. And she can have her picture taken with the board. And I would ask her to come to the podium and say a few words. Congratulations.
Oh, she's going, so we're going.
She's gonna say
I was worried she would.
actually a little bit more. I've got this corner of the podium. If everybody could take a step this way. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, stop. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Obviously supposed to be making a few comments. I have to say thank you. What a total surprise. This caught me totally off guard. You don't usually pull many things over on me because I'm too nosy and to stare at what's going on, but thank you so much. It's a great honor. It's been a pleasure to work for Lee County Schools, and it was over 900 hours, but that only reflects I've been in it for quite a while. And some of those girls, I was one of the veterans in the room, so that makes a difference. The veterans do have the most hours, but thank you again. Thank you so much, and I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thanks.
Congratulations, Susan. Finally, Mr. Chair, just like to wish Lee County High School the very best of luck this weekend. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody, and I hope everybody makes the trip to Raleigh Saturday night at 7. Great opportunity for school, but also a great opportunity for the community.
One thing to add to that as well, I remember seeing today, if you're unable to make it Raleigh, and we encourage you, the bus will leave here and go down Horner Boulevard, and so the community and the school has asked that we all line up on Horner Boulevard and give them a good feeling as they leave town. Line up on the sidewalks. Yes, sir.
What time is that? Are they
The
leaving
bus
town?
is pulling out at 3:45,
Okay.
and then at 4:45, a bus for students who are not on the football team who want to go. We're going to provide transportation to them as well. So we want to fill the stands at Carter Finley and wish our Yellow Jackets. It would be 51 years if we win since this school, even though it was called Sanford Central at the time, won the state championship. So wish them the best. All right, moving along to first committee reports. Curriculum and instruction, Dr. Stephen Coble.
Mr. Chairman, the curriculum and instruction meeting was held on November 13th for the high school agenda, and also on December 4th for the middle school agenda. During both of those meetings, as has already been mentioned by the superintendent, the main gist of it was school improvement plans for junior high and for high school. The next curriculum meeting for the middle school will be February the 5th, 2020, and the next meeting for the high school curriculum and instruction committee meeting will be held on January the 29th, 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Moving along to our facilities and technology report, Dr. Lynn Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Facilities and Technology Committee met on Thursday, November 21st. The first item on our agenda was a resolution concerning school technology, and it was a consensus of the committee to approve the resolution urging the state to take action to remit civil penalties unconstitutionally held from North Carolina's public school. And this, as I'm sure you will remember, is fines and forfeitures that were collected for many, many years and not returned to schools as required by law. And this suit is designed to recover that, and those funds, if recovered, will go for the use of technology for our students. The next item on our agenda was the purchase of computers. It was a consensus of the committee to approve the purchase of 1,235 Chromebooks in the amount of $274,848.39. These computers will focus on middle and high schools. That item was originally on your consent agenda, and now it's item number 3 on new business. The third item is we discussed having another meeting, and we decided to do it on December the 12th at 4 p.m., and it is to work on our 2021-2025 capital improvement budgets. So at that meeting, we will discuss the needs of our community and formulate that so it can be submitted to the county commissioners. The next F&T committee meeting on December the 12th, as I said, at 4 p.m. on the Hines Building.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Moving along to finance.
Actually, the Finance Committee has not met since our last meeting. Our next meeting will be January the 22nd. Please note that you have at your places the financial report for our district, and please note that in your packet under consent agenda is the financial report from each of our individual schools. And our next meeting will be on January the 22nd.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Moving along to policy. Board Member Womack.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The board met on November the 19th, and following the North Carolina School Board Association's recommendations, the committee has recommended that the following policies be approved for first reading. Policy 2010, Board and Superintendent Relations. Policy 2300, Board Meetings. Policy 4040, 7310, Staff-Student Relations. Policy 4325, Drugs and Alcohol. Policy 4333, Weapons, Bomb, Threats, and Terrorists. Policy 4334, Use of Unmanned Aircraft Drones. Policy 4400, Attendance. Policy 4525, 6125, Administer Medications to Students. Policy 5015, School Volunteers. Policy 5210, Distribution and Display of Non-School Material. Policy 2100, Recruitment and Selection of Personnel. Policy 7130, Licensure. Policy 7240, Drug-Free and Alcohol-Free Workplace. Policy 7241, Drug and Alcohol Testing of Commercial Motor Vehicle Operators. And Policy 7410. Our next board meeting, we will not have a meeting in December. That has been canceled for December the 17th. Our next policy meeting will be on the 21st of January at 5 p.m. And my colleague Patrick McCracken will be reading our policies that are up for second reading during the unfinished business.
Thank you. This concludes our committee reports and moves along to our consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve our consent agenda as presented?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of approving the consent agenda, signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, like sign. Our consent agenda stands approved. And on that note, there will be a resolution. The resolution will be sent to our reps and for the State House and Senate, and also the resolution will be included on minutes. Moving along to unfinished business. Mr. McCracken, you have a lot of reading to do.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, the Lee County Board of Education Policy Committee recommends the following policies for second reading. Policy 2010, Board and Superintendent Relations. Policy 2300, Board Meetings. Policy 4040, 7310, Staff-Student Relations. Policy 4325, Drugs and Alcohol. Policy 4333, Weapons, Bomb Threats, and Terrorists. Policy 4334, Use of Unmanned Aircraft or Drones. Policy 4400, Attendance. Policy 4525, 6125, administering medicines to students. Policy 5015, school volunteers. Policy 5210, distribution and display of non-school material. Policy 7100, recruitment and selection of personnel. Policy 7130, licensure. Policy 7240, drug-free and alcohol-free workplace. Policy 7241, drug and alcohol testing of commercial motor vehicle operators. And Policy 7410, teacher contracts.
Thank you, sir. Since these policies are coming from committee, there's no need for a second. All in favor of approving those policies with our second reading signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. All those policies stand approved at a second reading. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Moving on to new business. Up for our 2020-2021 calendars at this time, Dr. Rob Dietrich and Ms. Sharon Spence. I will say that I know that our calendar committee worked hard and diligently and had a lot of good discussion, and I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing from these two gentlemen. Excuse me. Sorry, Sharon.
Sir? That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's all right. Good evening. Thank you again for letting us come before you today. With what you see before you is the calendar that came out of the committee for the upcoming 2020-2021 school year. I do want to point out just a few things. It is a little bit different than the calendars that we have put before you. Again, the way that this happens is that there are representatives brought by schools, a parent representative and a faculty representative, and then those members we meet, and then we vote, and then we send this out to the schools. The schools look at it, they get feedback, and then we decide if we need to have another meeting or if it's good to go based on what we receive back from the schools. So with that, and with the meetings that we had, we did make one slight change on the calendars, which you'll notice. The usual typical end date that we have had in recent years would have been June 3rd on this calendar. And what we did was we pushed that date back to June 9th, and what that allowed, which is what we've had some requests come from the committee for the last several years, is that there were 9 work days at the beginning of the year, and we were able to take those 4 work days and spread them out throughout the year. And they made some good compromises in that calendar committee meeting. But what you will notice is that there is a day off about every 5 weeks on this calendar, which was at the request of the calendar committee meeting. We believe this is a very good, very balanced calendar, and it is one that the schools strongly supported, to the point where when I was walking around in schools, people were walking up to me and telling me this is the best calendar we've had. So I feel like the committee did good work. I would also like to thank Donna Parrish for her work in putting all of this together. And with that, unless do you have anything to add? So with that, we bring this to you as a recommendation out of this committee.
At this time, I'll open the floor for any discussion concerning our 2021 calendar. I'll start it off if no one has any comments. I agree with Dr. Dietrich. I have heard a lot of support for this calendar, especially with the every 5 weeks off and with the days at the beginning of the school year changed. One thing that several teachers have noted to me, and I've noticed through my career as well, certain counties just right next to us don't have off the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. They actually go to school a half day that day, whereas we would work it out here in Lee County Schools that our staff and our students and faculty are home on that day. So any other comments about our calendar? Any other discussion? If there is none, I will entertain a motion to approve.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the calendar, and thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of the 2020-2021 calendar as presented, saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Our calendar stands approved. Thank you for everybody's hard work. All right. Moving on to our second item under new business. Mrs. Womack.
Okay. I had a few questions I'd like to ask in reference to the computer systems.
Nope. We got board policies first reading.
Policies for the first reading? Okay. Hang on. Sorry. Put them away already.
No worries.
Okay. I'd like to recommend the following policies for first reading. Policy 2010, Policy 2300, Policy 4040, 7310, Policy 4325. For first reading, yeah. That's okay. You still got 900 hours.
Yeah, 4,700 's on my screen.
4700, 50, 70, 7350.
Okay, sorry. Policy 4700, student records. Okay, he's got it right here. Policy 5070, 7350, public records, retention, release, and disposition. Policy 5071, 7351, electronically stored information retention. Policy 6305, safety and student transportation services.
All right. There they are for our first reading. Since this comes committee, needs no second. Any discussion? All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve these policies at first reading.
So moved.
All right. Motion for board policies first reading. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of board policies that were just presented for first reading, signal saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Thank you. Now on to item number 3, introduced business, which was the purchase of computers. The reason that we are moving forward in purchasing computers is, as it was stated in our school improvement plans, that technology can help improve our education in our schools, and that when it comes to important decisions and making sure we have enough money to go around their all school systems, all of the school system, is a tough decision. And at this point, we know that we need some new technology in our system, and this is one reason why this was brought before us. I will turn this over now to Dr. Smith for any further discussion, and then open up for the board.
I have nothing to add to the discussion other than my report.
All right. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair, I had the questions that I sent to you earlier. I would like to know if this number of computers brings Lee County Schools up to a full one-to-one initiative for grades 3 through 12.
All right.
And if not, what is the plan?
Okay. At this time, I'd like to call Dr. Dietrich up to the podium. So the question is, would this bring us up to one-to-one throughout the county?
This would not bring us up to a one-to-one throughout the county.
So what is the plan?
Well, the plan is to continue to order technology until we do meet that goal.
Okay. What matrix do we have that the one-to-one initiative is actually working?
Say again?
What matrix do we have that the one-to-one laptop initiative is working? Have we done anything internally within
No,
our
ma'am.
school system?
Well, what we have shifted to actually recently is class sets, and that is something that occurred. We have class sets in the core areas that we have tried to do, so it is a different type of one-to-one that we are doing now.
The teachers seem to like that a lot too. My next question was, what is our refresh plan? Like, how many computers do we have? Because usually it's about 30% with refresh.
Yeah, our refresh is usually about 30%. The plan that I inherited, that is a very good plan, is we try to do 3rd grade, 6th grade, and 9th grade every year, depending on budget.
Okay. And do we actually accomplish a yearly inventory, and do we have any evidence that theft or loss other than normal wear and tear?
Well, when we went to class sets, the theft and the loss decreased tremendously, as well as the damages did, because they were in the schools when most of that occurred. It was usually when it was outside of school. So as far as the theft or the loss, when we shifted to class sets, those numbers almost went to zero.
But what were they before that?
Before, we had lost quite a few. I don't have an exact number because that was several years ago, but it was enough that we were having to order several hundred just to maintain.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
That's all the questions I have.
That's it? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dietrich. Any other discussion? At this time, I will call for a motion to approve the purchase of the laptops.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the laptops.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Motion by Board Member Womack, second by Dr. Smith. All those approve, signal saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Thank you. At this time, I will like to move towards closed session and once again wish everyone in the school system happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and congratulations to our football teams and for a safe trip this Saturday. And one last thing I'd like to add, these that you have at your place at the podiums were handed out to me when I was at the school board conference, and it gives specific numbers for Lee County and lottery money. So when we're asked why can't we spend more lottery money on stuff, now you got the numbers to know why. So other than that, I will entertain a motion for closed session.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Lee County Board of Education go into closed session for the purpose of discussing information that is privileged, confidential, or not a public record under NCGS Section 143-318-11A1.
Is there a second?
Second.
All the approved the closed session, they were saying aye.
Aye.
We stand in the closed session. Thank you. At this time, we will resume open session and continue new business. Is there any motions to come before new business?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the Human Resources Report as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of approving the Human Resources presentation as presented, signal saying aye.
Aye.
All the opposed, like sign. Our Human Resource Report stands approved. At this time, if there's nothing else coming before the board, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of adjourning, signal saying aye.
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 The Lee County School Board of Education stands adjourned.